Alright, Algebra 1, Lesson 104. This is on abstract rational equations. Now, before I even start this, it's important. There's 4 examples, and each of the 4 you're going to have to pay attention to because it gets harder each time. So here we go. This one says find m. Okay, and then it gives us this kind of problem. Somewhat similar to what we just did, but with just letters, no numbers. Okay, so that's our problem. And now I'm going to write it vertically. 1, or L, is that an L? That is a 1. Okay, 1 over x plus b over m equals, and then I'll make this c over 1 just to help us. Okay, just like a 4 would be 4 over 1, same thing. Okay, now we're looking at our denominators, x and m and 1. So basically our denominator needs to be xm so that it combines all of them. Okay? Alright, now that we've come up with a common denominator, we just basically ask ourselves to get from here to here, what did I have to do? Well, I have to multiply times xm. So what I do to the bottom, I have to also do the top. So c times xm just becomes cxm. That's how you do it. M times what equals xm times x. So what I do at the bottom, I do the top, dx. And then x times what equals xm, x times m. So this times m, 1m. Alright, now that you have all the same denominator, alright, what you're going to do is you're going to write down all of your numerators. Again, 1m plus the bx equals cxm. Now, this is where it gets confusing, but I want you to really pay attention. The key is this, find m. Okay, so we know that this part has an m, and this part has an m. So basically what you want to do is get all your m equations on one side and everything else on the other. So I'm actually going to move this over here, okay, so that all the m parts will be on the same side. And then this plus bx, I'm going to move over here. Okay? So that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to bring down my 1m, and then this cxm is going to become a negative cxm when I bring it across the equals, or plus negative, however you want to say it. I think the book puts just a minus, so that's fine. Equals, and then this plus bx becomes a minus bx. Alright? And that's that so far. Okay, now, once we get it to this point, what you're going to do, I'm going to make sure I'm writing this correctly, yes. What you're wanting to do is, at this point, you're going to factor. And we did this a little bit, but basically what you're wanting to look at is, looking at these, remember you're finding m. M is in both of these. So, m we're going to take out and put everything else in parentheses. For example, without the m, what would be here? A 1. So 1 times m would be 1m. Minus, without the m, what would be here? Cx. So m times cx is cxm. So we just created a factoring of this. Hopefully this is from previous lessons, this factoring is. So hopefully you remember how to do this. So m, 1 minus cx, equals negative bx. Okay, that's how we would write it so far. Now, because we're just answering for just m, this says m times this. Remember when a letter is next to numbers or another parentheses, it means m times this. Okay? Now, if I want m by itself, then I have to move the rest of this. So this times this becomes divided by, because remember when you move it across the equal sign, times this becomes divided by this. Okay? So we move that. And so now m equals negative bx all over 1 minus cx. And I'm going to make sure I'm right. Yes, I am. Okay? And that is how you will perform that problem. Let's look at another one. Let's look at 104.2. Okay? Here we go. This one says find b. Now, I'm going to write this in vertical form, so a over b plus C over D equals X, and I'm going to make it X over 1. Alright, on this one, our common denominator is going to be BD, BD, BD. There you go. So from here to here, what did I do? I multiplied by BD. So that's what I have to do at the top. X, B, D. D times what? I times it by B to get BD. So times B, CB. And then B from here to here, I times it by D times D, AD. Now, just to let you know, the book may say DA or AD or BC or CB. And then this may be DBX or BXD. It's always different. So when you're checking your answers, if you have all the letters correct, it doesn't matter what order they're in. Okay? So now again, you drop your denominator and you just write your numerator. AD plus CB, let me make sure it's a plus, yeah it is, okay, equals XBD. Now, because you're answering 4, find B. This one has a B in it and this one has a B in it. Okay? So what you're wanting to do is get all the B stuff on one side and all the other letters on the other side. Okay? So we're going to have to keep these together for now. So I'm going to leave my AD here, equals, and I'm going to move this plus CB across the equal side. And so I'm going to bring down XBD minus, instead of plus CB, I'm going to go minus CB. You with me? Alright, now we're going to find B. So both of these have something in common, and it's B, so we have to factor that out. B. And then you say, if I take out the B, then what do I have left? X and a D minus. If I take the B out, I have a C. So if I took B times that, I would get this. And if I took B times that, I would get this. So we're correct. Now, equals AB. I'm just bringing this down. Now, because we're finding B, this says B times. Remember, if it's next to parentheses, then that means multiply. So, since we're trying to get B by itself, we're going to take this times XD minus C, move it across the equal, and it becomes divided by XD minus C. So, B equals AD over XD minus C. Okay? And that is the answer for that one. Alright. I think that was, Alright, so let's do 104.3. Make sure we're hanging in there, understanding it. Here we go. And this one's find X. A over B minus C. And now on this one, we're going to make C over 1. Remember that rule? All over D over X. And this one has a B, a 1, and an X. So we're just going to make it BX. Okay? That's our common denominator. Alright, on this one, we are supposed to be finding X. Okay? So here we go. So let's take our one step at a time. So X times what equals BX times B times B, dB. Okay? 1 times that. And what we're going to do up here, CBX. And then B times X times X. So AX. Okay? Once we get to this point, remember, we just drop the denominator and we write our numerator. AX minus CBX equals DB. And the good thing is we've already got our X's, the ones with the X in the middle, already on this side. So we're finding X. So all the other letters are on the other side. So we have to factor this. X, we took that out, we would get an A minus CB. Again, if you multiplied X times A, we get AX minus X times that, we get CBX. So we've done it right. Alright, so that's our new answer. Alright, but this is not complete because this is X times this. And we need to get the X by itself. So this times A minus CB becomes divided by A minus CB. Alright, so the final answer is X equals DB over A minus CB. Alright, now, last problem. Let's do our last problem. 104.4. Here we go. A over X minus Y, and I'm going to put Y over 1. Okay? Now this has 3 plus MN equals, and I'm going to put K over 1. Okay? So it was just Y and it was just K, but I went on and put those into a fraction form. Alright, now if I have an x, a 1, an n, and a 1, then it's just going to become xn on all of them. Okay, so from 1 to xn, I had to multiply by xn, so that becomes kxn. From n to xn, I had to multiply by x, and x equals xn, so I'm going to multiply this by x and x. Then from 1 to xn, I'm going to multiply by xn, so I have to do that on both. That becomes yxn. And then lastly, from x to xn, we have to multiply it by n, so I have to do the top, and that becomes an. Okay? Now once you get to this place, remember all of our denominators are the same, so you just drop those and let's do the numerators. So you're going to say an minus, and then you're going to write your next numerator plus, you're going to write your next numerator equals, and you're going to write your final, and I'm running out of room. There we go, final numerator. Okay, now remember, on this one we are finding x. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is see, this one has an x in it, this one has an x in it, and this one has an x in it. Okay. Now remember my rule is we try to get all the x's together and everything else on the other side of the equal. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm just going to bring these x's yxn plus mx, and then this one, remember when you go across the equal sign, it changes the sign from positive to negative. So we're going to go plus kxn. Now, we still have this an over here. And we need to bring it across this equal sign so that we have letters, the x's on this side, and just other letters on the other. So when I move the an, it becomes a negative an. Alright, now, real fun, right? Okay, so now we're going to find x. Now because these all three have x, we are going to factor that out. Now we've learned this in previous lessons, so just walk with me through this, okay? So if I took the x out of this, we'd get negative yn plus, if I took the x out of that one, it would be m. And if I took the x out of this one, it would be negative kn. All equals negative an. Okay? Now, once we get to this place, remember, we're solving for x. So this is x times all of this. And if we want to get the x by itself, then we have to move this all times all of that. And when we move it across the equal sign, the opposite of timesing is dividing. So we divide this by this. So it becomes negative yn plus m plus a negative kn. So final answer, the x equals negative an all over negative yn plus m plus negative kn. Hopefully that all made sense quite a bit to understand completely, but those are all your letters and how to make it work. Okay? That's lesson 104.